Overnight, global prices plummeted by a factor of 1 million. With just 1 yuan, you could buy Mount Fuji. With 2 yuan, you could buy Wall Street in the United States. But for some reason, my money was the only thing that didn't change. I was completely out of the loop and had no idea any of this was happening. Today, I'm at a blind date my mother set up for me. The girl said, "I'll be blunt. I want a 100 square meter house, a Gaifu car, and 0.5 yuan as a dowry." I nearly choked. What? 0.5 yuan? Are you kidding me? She sneered at me. "If you're too broke to pay it, just say so, you loser." I blinked, stunned. "No, wait, miss, did I hear you correctly?" I leaned in. "Are you absolutely sure you mean 0.5 yuan? 0.5 yuan for the dowry," she snapped. "Not a single cent less if you want to marry me." "I know it's a lot to ask," she continued, "but my parents suffered to raise me." I couldn't help but laugh. 0.5 yuan? What, do you think I'm some kind of billionaire tycoon? The words slipped out of my mouth before I could stop them. "What kind of nonsense are you talking?" she barked. "If you can't pay, forget it." "Don't worry," she added. "I won't take advantage of you. I'll pay for my own coffee. Even if you come back with a whole yuan as a dowry, begging me in tears, I won't accept." I just shook my head and prepared to go home to my streaming career that makes millions a month. Suddenly, her phone started vibrating on the table. I picked up my own phone. "Hello? Who is this?" "Hello, am I speaking with Mr. Sincha?" a voice asked. "Yes, that's me," I replied. "How can I help you?" "Ah, I see. Well, here is the situation. The Boeing 747 you purchased online has arrived in Xinjiang City. Due to the high value of the cargo, we need to confirm when you can pick it up in person." "What the hell? It's just a toy model. Just leave it at the downtown station, okay?" The caller let out a nervous laugh. "You're joking, sir. This is a real Boeing 747. Even if we had 10 lives, we wouldn't dare leave it lying around. You must come yourself." "Good grief. I bought a plastic model for 3 yuan, and you're treating it like a real jet." Fine. Where is it? I'll go there myself." "We are at the Xinyun International Airport Terminal. We'll send you the navigation link now." I hung up. To save money, I hopped on a random bus heading toward the airport. "Hey driver," I asked, "how much for a ticket to the airport?" Dead silence fell over the entire bus. Every single passenger turned their head to stare at me. They looked at me like I was some kind of delusional lunatic. "How much does it cost?" the driver scoffed. "Kid, you haven't woken up yet, have you? Great. Another one who reads too many CEO novels and can't tell reality from fiction. Man, kids these days have bigger mouths than brains. Talk is cheap. Don't cling to that lottery dream. Kid, those overnight success stories on TV? All lies." "Exactly. Just study hard and get a real job in the future. If you ever make 2 cents a month, your ancestors will be cheering from their graves." I listened to them all, feeling more confused by the second. What was wrong with these people? A bride price is only 5 mao. Since when was trying to save bus fare a reason to be despised? I could feel my anger starting to boil over. I was wearing cheap clothes that weren't worth much. Even if we sold you, you wouldn't be worth a dime. Who do you think you are? If you don't have the money for the bus, get off right now. I shot a glare at the man in the suit who said that. Are you sick in the head? What's wrong with asking for the fare? Besides, it's just a few yuan to the airport. Don't you have anything better to do? The moment those words left my mouth, the entire bus erupted. "Oh please, did you hear that? He says it costs a few yuan. That's a whole yuan, not a mao, not even a phone. Dream all you want, kid, but don't lose touch with reality. You'll go crazy. If this brat can actually produce 1 yuan, I'll eat this entire bus." I watched them, stunned as they continued to tear into me. That idiot was clearly feeling himself, riding a sudden wave of superiority. He looked at me like a nobody with no future, ignorant of how the world really works. "Kid, if you're that broke, just call me uncle. I might toss you some change for a cab." He bragged about his monthly salary being 2 cents and 5 li. The mockery from the people around me echoed louder and louder. This whole situation was becoming anything but superficial. Man, what is wrong with people these days? The atmosphere on the bus was suddenly electric with hostility. This has to be a prank by the system. It's too fake. If the rich in this world only have 1 million, then what does that make me? Am I basically a billionaire on a national level now? Heh, I couldn't help but smirk. I'm going to use my money to shut every single one of them up. The thought made me chuckle under my breath. I was lost in my own head, fantasizing wildly and completely tuned out from the bus. "Hey brat, are you getting off, or what? If you aren't paying, get out." I snapped back. "I'm just asking about a few yuan. Are you people insane? Kid, you keep throwing that word around like it's nothing. You on this, you on that." The man in the suit stepped closer, his face red with anger. "If you can actually produce a few yuan, I'll call you daddy right here on the spot." I reached into my pocket and pulled out the cash. The entire bus went dead silent. I tossed 4 coins into the air, letting them catch the light. They spun perfectly before landing right back in my palm. The heavy clink of metal on metal echoed through the cabin. Every jaw in the place hit the floor. I huffed. "It's not just 1 yuan. Is this enough for you?" The shine on those coins was unmistakable. 4 whole yuan, right there in front of them. My God. That luster, that weight, it was the real deal. That's right, it was a certified, high-value note. "Impossible," someone whispered. "How can he just carry 4 yuan around like it's nothing?" "Wait, what if it's a counterfeit?" another voice piped up. I ignored them and flicked a single coin back into the air. Every pair of eyes followed its arc like it was a falling star. They were mesmerized by the movement of the metal. They looked terrified that it might hit the floor and shatter. The tension in the air was thick enough to choke on. I snatched the coin out of the air and shoved it carelessly back into my pocket. The crowd winced, looking like I'd just ripped a piece of their own flesh out. Oh, what a waste. What if it hits the ground and gets scratched? Exactly. What if he reaches out and it falls right into the sewer? If I had a son like that, I'd strangle him myself. Please, you think you're worthy? Just looking at him, you can tell he's a rich man's son. Hey, brother, have you been studying hard? I'm the school's golden flower. I'll take 5 mao. I'll even pay you. I'm still a virgin, you know. I scoffed. You're dreaming. One look at you, and I can tell you're not original. You. I turned to the man in the suit. Who was it that said if this was real, they'd call me daddy? The moment I said it, his face went pale, and he froze in his tracks. But as he stared at my bulging pocket, the shame in his eyes instantly twisted into greed. He thought, wait, if I ignore the age gap, having a rich little sugar daddy wouldn't be a loss. If I become his adopted son, maybe he'll give me all 4 coins in his pocket. Daddy, my name is Ganxi. You can call me Gunner. Get lost. You're disgusting. Looking at this group of lunatics, I was now certain global prices really had collapsed, and that meant I was now as rich as an entire country. If Lu Rian knew I'd become a tycoon, she'd throw herself into my arms in a heartbeat. By the way, this model plane is a birthday gift for my future brother-in-law. I can't let anything happen to it. I hailed a taxi and rushed to the airport. Lu Rian had been my goddess since our college days. I'd been chasing her for 3 long years, and her brother was always the one helping me get closer to her. I'd always been incredibly generous with him. A moment later, I stepped out of the car and walked into the airport terminal. I was about to call customer service when my phone suddenly buzzed. It was her, my goddess, Lu Rian. My heart raced. I wanted to show off and finally get a little payback. Hey babe, I've got Xiao Wei's birthday gift ready. Where are you? Don't call me babe, she snapped. I'm at the parking deck. Get over here. We need to talk. Oh, I'm already at Engine Airport. What's going on? Wait, how are you at the airport too? She sounded impatient. Just find an assistant and tell them to take you to the heliport. Tell the manager once sent you. I was confused, but I went to the service desk and gave them the name. They quickly escorted me to the airfield where the helicopters were parked. That's when I saw her, Lu Rian, standing there with her brother, Zhang Wei. Zhang Wei couldn't take his eyes off the massive helicopter sitting right in front of them. This is incredible. Look at those lines. A private jet. It's just too cool. Oh, Rian, Xiao Wei is here too. I had arrived just in time. I reached out to greet her, but she stepped back. Don't touch me. Chin Feng. We're over. Let's break up. I forced a laugh. Don't be silly. Isn't today Xiao Wei's birthday? Let's not joke around. I'm not playing with you. I'm out of your league. Do you understand? I let out a nervous chuckle. Honey, stop being foolish. I'm serious. It's over. I gripped the 4 coins in my pocket until my knuckles turned white. My gaze turned cold as I looked at her. Fine, give me one good reason. Have I not been good enough to you? The silence between us was deafening. Good? You're a joke. You've been with my sister for 3 years and haven't even bought her a lipstick. Hearing Zhang Wei, the kid I treated like my own brother, spit those words felt like needles in my heart. Wei Wei is right, she added coldly. You aren't worthy of being part of this family. I heard the voice and looked up. I saw a man in his 30s suddenly jump down from the helicopter. He looked like a man in his prime, full of confidence, with a smug, lonely arrogance in his stride. He walked right up and wrapped his arms around Rian. Xiao Wei turned his head toward me. He glared at me with a look of pure defiance. Brother-in-law, you finally made it. I looked at the stranger and asked, who are you? I'm the manager of this airline and her current boyfriend. See this plane? It's mine. Hey kid, listen up. My brother-in-law is in a good mood today, so he's giving out a fat red envelope. Take the flowers and don't be a cheapskate. My God, $1,000. Thank you, brother-in-law. He's so generous. My brother-in-law is the best. Do you see this? My real brother-in-law just handed over a massive stack of cash. You couldn't save that much money in your entire life. In that moment, I felt a level of ridicule I'd never known before. Wow, they're actually this happy over a single dollar. If I threw the $4 I have in my pocket right at their faces, they'd probably drop dead from the shock. Kid, if you've got any sense, get lost right now, or I'll have security drag you out. Hurry up and leave. Don't waste our time. Don't keep my sister from her private jet. I looked at this group of absolute clowns. A trace of bloodlust flashed in my eyes, and my voice dropped to a low growl. Fine, I hope you don't regret this. Rian, Xiao Wei, you ungrateful pair. You'll regret this. Don't come crawling to me for help. Ask you for help? You're a loser. Pay attention and listen close. I have exactly $1 to my name. This Robinson R44, it only costs $3 cash. A single hair on my leg is worth more than your whole life. How can you even compete? Xiao Wei sneered as he pinched Rian's cheek. Ha ha ha. You? What are you laughing at? Have you finally lost your mind? $3, the $4 I have in my pocket. That would buy this entire airport, wouldn't it? What are you doing? Who is this brat? Don't they know a high-level VIP guest is about to arrive? At the sound of that voice, everyone turned to look. A man in a business suit and black-rimmed glasses was approaching us. The moment she saw him, Lu Rian's face twisted in disgust. Who do you think you are? What are you doing? Before she could finish her sentence, Jabota slammed his hand over her mouth. He looked at the newcomer with pure alarm and stammered. President Chun, what brings you here? He's just a friend of mine. I'll take him away immediately, right now. I watched the once imposing Jabota transform into a humble servant. Lu Rian's expression shifted instantly. Ha ha ha. One simple sentence, and we have to leave with our tails between our legs. What kind of man is this President Chun? Even Jabota, who earns a whole dollar a year, is this terrified. If he's this scared, then what is this man actually worth? 5,000, or maybe even 1,000,000. If I could get close to him, I wouldn't have to put up with Jabota's face anymore. Suddenly, I wondered who the VIP was that someone as powerful as President Chun would greet in person. Just as Jabota was dragging Lu Rian away, preparing to leave, I looked at President Chun, a flicker of doubt crossing my mind. Hey, President Chun, that voice, haven't we met somewhere before? The moment I spoke, the air in the room turned to ice. Jabota looked like he was about to drop dead from pure terror. He lunged at me, grabbing my arm with a desperate grip. That voice, it was so familiar. Where had I heard it? What are you talking about? How could President Chun know a nobody like you? Don't listen to him, sir. I looked at them with a lazy, calm expression. What's the matter? Afraid I'll talk? Jabota's face twisted. He was a man of status, and I was making him look like a fool. Fine, you're just looking for a payday, right? I'll give you 50 cents outside. He tried to drag me away, but I didn't budge. A whole penny, that's half a month's wages for me. Don't get greedy now. Just as Jabota reached for his radio to call security, President Chin's eyes suddenly went wide as a realization hit him. His chest began to heave, his breathing becoming ragged and uneven. It was him, that voice, the man from the phone call this morning. That meant President Chun took a deep, shaky breath, trying to steady his nerves. Let go of him. He roared the command, and Jabota nearly jumped out of his skin. Trembling, Jabota stammered, "But Manager Chun, this kid is just..." President Chun ignored him entirely and practically ran toward me. And he bowed deeply, a full 90 degrees. "You must be Mr. Chun Fong, please, sir." The entire room fell into a deathly silence as Lu Rian and Yin Wei stared at me like I was an alien. "It's me, and you are..." "Ah, I remember now. You're the delivery guy who called me this morning, right?" "Shut up. Do you want to die?" "This is the heir to the Anang Group, General Manager Chun." "A delivery guy? Are you insane?" "Manager Chun, you definitely have the wrong person. He's just a poor loser. When he was with me, he couldn't even afford a lipstick, let alone be your guest. Hey you, throw him out of here fast. Do it now. Don't offend Manager Chun. Who dares to touch him?" Chun Chuan's roar was commanding, echoing through the hall. It left the siblings frozen in their tracks. "Open your damn eyes. That Boeing 747 that just landed was bought in full by General Manager Chin Fong." Everyone turned their heads to look where he was pointing. The massive aircraft gleamed under the sun, making the helicopter next to it look like a cheap toy. A Boeing 747, that was it. A divine machine with an astronomical price tag of $30 million. $30 million. You wouldn't even be worth a fraction of that if I sold you off. How could a guy like me ever afford something like that? While everyone else was so shocked they could barely breathe, I just scratched my head. I put on my best dazed and confused expression. "Wait, brother, you've got it all wrong, don't you? I just bought a model airplane as a birthday gift for my brother-in-law." Hearing this, Lu Rian looked like she'd just found a lifeline, her arrogance returning instantly. "Ha, I knew it. Manager Chun, did you hear that? He admitted it himself. It's just a cheap toy. Mr. Chin Fong, please, could you show me the order information?" I handed him my phone with total indifference, and Chin Chuan took a quick look. His pupils dilated instantly. He snapped his head up, looking at the crowd. "Listen closely. This is an official confirmation from the Boeing company. Mr. Chin Fong did indeed buy this aircraft with a single, full payment." That final blow hit Lu Rian and her brother like a physical strike, leaving them dazed. Impossible, him? Where would he even get that kind of money? It was over for them. The price tag was $300 million. The entire market value of their family's group was barely a fraction of what I just spent on a whim. I sighed and said, "Man, what bad luck. I saw it listed for only 3,210 yuan and thought it was a high-end model." The entire room fell into a stunned silence. "I mean, this thing is huge. I don't even know how to fly it, and it'll just take up space at home. If I'd known it was real, I never would have bought it. A scale model is way more practical." The crowd couldn't believe their ears. Jabota looked like he wanted to drop dead right there. He was actually complaining that a private jet takes up too much room. Jabota glared at Lu Rian with such fury, it looked like he wanted to strangle her on the spot. Lu Rian looked completely lost, muttering to herself like a broken record. "It's a toy. It's all fake. Don't believe him." Manager Chin laughed nervously and said, "Mr. Chin Fong, you're quite the joker. The paperwork is ready," he continued. "Would you like to step on board and inspect your new craft?" I waved him off and said, "Forget it. I'm too lazy to move. It's just a cheap toy. What's there to inspect?" Chin Chuan nearly choked on his own breath. A cheap toy? This was a Boeing 747. He'd seen arrogant people before, but never someone who treated a fortune like literal trash. Just then, a beautiful woman in a sharp, form-fitting suit came running toward us. She was panting as she reached out and said, "President Chun, here is the transfer contract you requested." I gave a casual nod. "Mr. Chun, if everything looks correct, please sign at the bottom, and this Boeing 747 is officially yours." I took the contract from her hand and gave it a quick, indifferent glance. I scribbled my name across the bottom of the page. Returning it would be too much of a hassle, so I guess I'll just keep it. "Congratulations, Mr. Chun. This Boeing 747 is now officially your property." Hearing those words, Lu Rian finally snapped out of her daze. "No, it's impossible. You're a liar, Chin Fong. You're lying. This is all a setup, isn't it? You're just trying to make me regret leaving you." Right, Jabota? This guy isn't actually your manager. Tell me he's lying. Lu Rian looked like a woman possessed by a demon. She grabbed Jabota by the collar and started shaking him violently. It was clear that her mind was breaking. She couldn't accept the reality standing right in front of her. Why? Why did you change the second I walked away from you? You just bought a whole airplane for a measly 3,000 yuan. That kind of money is enough for a normal person to live a life of luxury. If I could buy a jet that casually, I had to have a massive fortune hidden away. You said I was still your girlfriend. You were supposed to buy me the cars, the house, and all the luxury brands. Lu Rian's public meltdown immediately drew a crowd of staring eyes. Jabota's face turned a sickly shade of pale. He had been praying that I would just forget he was even there. But thanks to Lu Rian's little stunt, Jabota was back in the spotlight. It was impossible for me to ignore him now. You're insane. Get out of here and stop being so hysterical. Seeing that Lu Rian was still spiraling out of control, Jabota delivered a sharp slap directly across her face. A blood-red handprint bloomed on her cheek as she shrieked, "How dare you hit me?" Lu Rian snapped back to reality, staring at Jabota in utter disbelief. But Jabota wasn't about to indulge her anymore. He stared her down, his eyes cold and unwavering. "Shut up. If you say one more word, you'll regret it." Jabota rubbed his hands together and looked at the crowd with an awkward, forced laugh. "Sorry for the trouble, everyone. She just went crazy out of nowhere. I was afraid she'd hurt someone, so we're leaving now." Lu Rian's sister, however, felt a sudden surge of hope in her heart. She thought, Chen Feng is rich now. He even bought a Boeing 747. She believed that if I just said the word, they wouldn't be kicked out. She rushed toward me, desperate to cling to my newfound status. "Brother Chen, they're trying to kick us out. Please, say something for me." She grabbed my arm and started shaking it, begging for help. The force of her pull jerked my hand right out of my pocket. As my hand came out, 4 coins tumbled out with it. Everyone froze instantly, as if time itself had stopped. Every single pair of eyes in the room was glued to the floor. They were staring at those 4 shiny coins. The air left the room in a collective gasp. That shimmer, those were genuine 1 yuan coins. My God, 4 whole yuan, and I was just carrying them in my pocket. Walking around with that much cash, I really was a true tycoon. Yang Wei stared at the coins on the ground. His eyes turned bloodshot with greed, like a rabid rabbit. It was real money, the kind of 1 yuan coins you only see on TV. "Brother-in-law," he shouted, his voice trembling. "If you help us, I'll make sure my sister gets back together with you. Come on, brother-in-law, apologize to her. It's 4 whole yuan." I let out a heavy sigh. "What did you just say?" I asked coldly. Did he really think I still cared about his sister? "Just give me those 4 yuan as a gift, and I'll handle everything." He was already reaching for the money, his dignity long gone. "I'll allow the 2 of you to get back together. Doesn't that sound like a great deal for you? Sister, quick, a 4 yuan dowry." Lu Rian stammered. "Yes? Oh, right." She finally snapped out of her trance and fixed her hair. Then she came running toward me. She let out a soft, playful huff. "Do you finally realize you were wrong?" she asked. "Let's get back together. That bastard Hebod tricked me. In my heart, there's only ever been you. I'll even go home with you tonight." Yang Wei chimed in. "That's right, Brother Chun. That guy fooled both of us, but we know better now. Just take her back, and let's go back to how things were." I let out a cold snort. Watching these 2 ungrateful snakes put on a performance was pathetic. I took a deliberate step back. I looked at my hand and brushed it off with total indifference. A leech will always be a leech. Had she already forgotten the single cent her lover gave her before? Weren't you just calling him your brother-in-law? Why are you harassing a nobody like me now? They both froze as my sarcastic words hit them like a physical blow. Stunned, they stood there in total silence. Before they could react, 2 airport security guards arrived on the scene. Hebod looked like he'd just won the lottery. "Quick, get these 2 out of here. Don't let them ruin Mr. Chen's view." The 2 traitors went pale, their voices catching in their throats. They looked at me, searching for even a shred of mercy. But neither of them dared to make a scene anymore. Hebod's patience finally snapped. "What are you waiting for? Throw them out. Do I need to repeat myself?" The 4 security guards from the San Francisco detail stepped forward. They exchanged a quick nod. They knew exactly what they had to do. They moved in to drag the Liu siblings away. Lu Rian screamed, "No, I finally made it here. I haven't even been in the helicopter or seen the Boeing 747 cockpit yet." Yang Wei kept backing away, his eyes darting around in a panic. Suddenly, he bolted toward the helicopter parked on the side. But he was no match for the speed of trained security professionals. Lu Rian was slammed hard onto the ground. 2 security guards dragged her right past me. Just as Hebod was basking in his own smugness, I spoke up. "Wait." Hebod froze, turning his head toward me like a rusty machine. I stared him down, my eyes cold and unwavering. "Hebod, there's one more piece of trash here that needs to be thrown out." Cold sweat broke out on his forehead as he tried to force a smile. "Oh, Mr. Chun, you must be joking. I'm the manager here." "What do you mean? From what I know, you're finished." I looked at the airport director and said, "He's married, yet he's ruining the company's reputation with this woman. As of right now, he's fired." "Yes, I'm married, but Mr. Chun, she and I, it's not what it looks like." "Enough. Our airline is too small for a deity like you. Get out." Hebod's face turned ghostly pale in an instant. The director's words were a death sentence for his career. Desperate, he didn't even stop to think. He threw away his pride and dropped to his knees right there on the pavement. Director, I know I messed up. Please, just give me one more chance. Seeing the director remain unmoved, Hibod turned his pleading eyes toward me. Mr. Chun, I didn't know she was yours. I wouldn't have touched her for a million lives. Jabota kept groveling and begging for mercy. Chen Chuang noticed the cold impatience in my eyes. He immediately gave a sharp signal with his hand. Drag him out of here and throw him away. Yes, sir. Jabota was hauled off, screaming like his life depended on it. The world finally felt right again. Finally, some peace and quiet. I leaned down and slowly reached out my hand. I picked up the 4 coins scattered on the ground. I thought a man of your status wouldn't care about pocket change. Even a mosquito is still meat, I said, tossing the coins and catching them firmly. The secretary standing nearby watched with her heart in her throat. Her eyes followed the coins as they rose and fell. Inside, she was panicking. My God, those are 4 real coins. What if he misses and they fall into the sewer? Most rich guys she knew wasted money, but I was just playing with them like marbles. That effortless sense of relaxation is just too cool. Is this the aura of a top-tier god of wealth? Discreet, luxurious, and full of substance. The true air of an aristocrat. Even Chen Chuan seemed a little nervous standing there. But Song, he wasn't like the woman in the casual suit. She just looked at me with a mix of confusion and contempt. She was speechless. One moment, I'm dropping 3,210 yuan on a plane without blinking. The next, I'm carefully counting out 4 single coins. The secretary in the casual suit stood there, completely stunned. Her name was Anita, and since she wasn't there at the start, she had no idea. She didn't know I had actually just bought a real aircraft. She thought tossing coins around was the peak of showing off. But this was a whole different level of absurdity. Buying a model and getting a Rayal plane delivered instead. Is this just the twisted sense of humor rich people have? I shook my head with a bitter smile and told Chen Chuan, stop teasing me. Thanks for today, you really helped me vent some frustration. But a man like you doesn't visit just to say hello. You want something from me, don't you? Just say it. I told him, let's eat first, then talk. Get in the car, and soon we were sitting in a luxury cafe. Chen Chuan leaned in and asked, so, about that Boeing 747, what do you plan to do with it? I sighed and replied, honestly, what can I even do? I'll just let it sit there since I can't fly it. It's basically just a life-sized model for decoration. A life-sized model? A 3,210 yuan aircraft used just to grab attention? The logic was insane. Chen Chuan cleared his throat and said, since it's just sitting idle, why not lease it to King Ong Airlines? The price is negotiable, of course, he added. I looked at him, puzzled. Wait, your prestigious airline actually needs to rent planes. We're desperate, he admitted. Don't let our fleet of 20 planes fool you. It's mostly for show. I did the math in my head. 20 planes? If each one costs around 6,000 yuan, that's only 120,000 yuan total. Can a massive company really not afford that tiny amount of money? The words 120,000 and tiny amount of money hung in the air. They hit Chen Chuan with the force of a ton of bricks. He nearly choked on his coffee and spat it across the table. Brother, do you think everyone is like you, treating money like it's nothing? Even top-tier airlines can't afford to buy planes in cash. Most of us have to lease them from banks. We work like donkeys all year, and the profit isn't even enough to buy a single wing. I couldn't believe it. Are airline owners really that poor? If you can't afford a few thousand yuan for a plane, why even run a business? You'd be better off farming. Chen Chuan clutched his chest, looking like he was about to have a heart attack right then and there. He looked like he was about to have a heart attack right there. Good grief, what is wrong with this man? If you can't afford a plane for a few thousand yuan, you're better off farming. Is the gap between people really this massive? Wait, this is my chance to do a little investing. So, you're telling me the thousands of employees at King Ong Airlines work like donkeys all year and can't even earn 3,210 yuan? That's exactly right, he sighed. My God, my system pays out more than that in a single month's salary. I could buy his entire group and still have change left over. It's almost pathetic. So, Mr. Chun, what are you suggesting? I asked. I'll let you use it, of course. Leaving it there to rust is a waste. Might as well use it to earn some gas money. Should we sign the contract? Great. For the lease terms, we usually use a financial leasing method with quarterly returns. Please, spare me the technical jargon. Don't overcomplicate things with nonsense. Just tell me, how much net profit will this plane make a year? After maintenance and fuel, you can earn about 300 a year. 300 yuan? Are you kidding me? I paid 3,210 yuan for this plane. It would take 10 years just to break even. Are you guys running a business or a charity? Mr. Chun, that's just how the market works. An airplane's lifespan is 20 years. The first 10 are just to recover the investment. The last 10 are pure profit. This is already considered a high-yield project. Forget it, forget it, forget it. I could make more money counting letters on a page. Let's not make this contract complicated. I'll take your word for it. 300 a year, right? Let's do this. Just transfer 25 yuan to me every month. For the next 20 years, do whatever you want with the plane. I won't even consider it mine. No collateral, no guarantees. Just keep it simple. 25 yuan a month? How is this any different from renting a shared bicycle? Well, just tell me, are we doing this or not? Yes, let's sign right now. Thank you. It was getting late. Mr. Chen clutched that contract like a holy relic as he headed home. Mr. Chun, it was a pleasure. If you ever have another small business deal like this, please, look me up. He was practically bowing again. Unbelievable. And just like that, I had a 25 yuan a month lease sitting in my hand. Haha. Is this what the boring life of making money while doing absolutely nothing feels like? Haha.